My name is Ben Cahoon, and I'm the CEO of Techcyte. I'm here to introduce you to the world's first artificial intelligence-based mold and particulate solution. This platform helps environmental labs count and classify mold and particulate from air pumps and tape samples. Techcyte was started in 2013 and has developed the world's leading platform for deep learning and image analysis for cell-based samples. We provide tests for human, veterinary, and environmental markets, and have algorithms such as white blood cell analysis, pap smears, fecal ovum parasite tests, etc. As we've looked at the mold market, we found the challenges facing most mold labs were consistent with other lab types throughout the world. It is very difficult to recruit, train, and maintain qualified mold technicians. Just because the younger generations, they're not flocking to microscopy. It's also been interesting to investigate how good the AI needed to get. And it turns out that the industry standard process of reading 20 to 30% of the slide and then extrapolating those results out actually don't provide very consistent results. Mold spores and particulate tends to clump in certain areas, and you can either overcall or undercall particular mold spores if you don't read 100% of the trace. It's also very difficult to prove whether a technician is good or bad because there's no proof of their results, and you have to, just result to QA slides. Providing same-day results for customers is virtually impossible unless they're within driving distance of your lab. And then saving slides for legal reasons is costly and just takes up a lot of space. So let me introduce you to the Sporecyte. The Sporecyte Solution is a web-based solution, but it begins back at sample prep. We can take an aerosol, an allergen code positrack, or a tape sample, and we've actually got a non-toxic stain that you can prep so that really anyone can do this and you don't need a hood. The sample is prepped, and instead of using a normal cover slip, you use a patent-pending printed cover slip, and that's placed over the sticky impact zone on the slide. And what that does is allows the scanners to pick up and read that trace or the tape sample. There's various options for scanners. You can have, if you have low volume, a single slide. There's a 6 slide or even up to a 360 slide scanner. Once the slide is scanned in, those images are uploaded to Sporecyte, where the AI reads, analyzes, and then presents those results back to the technician. The technician confirms, changes anything that they need, and then can produce a report. And that whole process is super efficient and also accurate because we do read 100% of the trace. Now, this is made possible by brand new technology that's used by self-driving cars and lots of other high-tech solutions on the internet. And it's called a deep learning convolutional neural network. Basically, what we do is we take thousands of images, literally hundreds of thousands of images of mold spores and particulate. We put that into this network, and the network breaks down each image into features. And it takes those thousands of features and statistically figures out what features make a difference to classify and then count each of the different types. So at the end, you get classified and counted Alternaria, Stachybotrys, Aspergillus, etc. So that's how a deep learning network works. And our solution basically takes those images, takes an image of a mold trace, analyzes it, presents the images that it finds, presents those results back to the technician. This also enables a new same-day digital result if your customers have enough volume to justify a scanner. So if they've got enough volume, they can purchase a scanner, put it in their office, prep the slide with our non-toxic stain. The digitized version of the slide comes to your lab where you can confirm the digital results, and then you can either send out our visual report with pictures of the images and the spores, or you can connect that to your reporting system, and they can get your report. So that's really never been possible today. Today, you have to, if someone brings in a same-day sample, they've got to bring it to your lab. You've got to do a rush order. In this way, you can just send it digitally and get a result back to your client a lot quicker and for less money. The scanners to enable that there's a couple options. Generally, these one-slide scanners will work, Modic 1 or a Grendium AUKUS 40. If they have more slides and more volume, it may be more efficient to get a Modic Pro 6, which holds up to 6 slides at a time. Let me switch over and give you a quick demonstration of how this technology works. This is the view that a lab has once the scans have been scanned in, the slides have been scanned in and sent up to the Sporecyte platform. They've been sent up there. The AI has looked at those images, cut out each of the spore types and particulate types and counted them. And then the lab then uses this as a workflow. You can assign it to different techs, and basically to get it started, you just click on the link. In this particular sample, there was basidiospores, but most importantly, there was some Stachybotrys, and I'm going to actually include some of those images to be included in a report. So once I confirm the results, let me see if there's anything else. That's it. So let me report on that. When I report on it, you can include your own logo, and it gives the counts and numbers that were found, and then also images of what was found. You can see it's very easily to go back and see what the mold tech found, make sure that they were correct, and get those visual results back to your customer. Once I'm done with that one, I can move on to the next one, and you can see it's very, very similar, right? Here's the whole trace and everything that was found, and that all shows up here. And if I want to include those images, I just select there. You can see there's some ascospores, some aspergillus. Let's say I didn't agree and I thought this was a basidiospore. I could click on that, click basidiospore, and then that would be moved to the basidiospore class, so you could correct the report. So that gives you a good idea of what the lab tech is looking at. It generally takes them about 3 minutes to review and correct a slide, and then generate that report. So there's a significant time savings that can happen. You can also include any notes, etc. So that's the product, and you can see it's much better and much easier on a mold tech to be looking at a nice big computer monitor than looking in the microscope and counting and classifying things. So we did, to determine how good the algorithm was and needed to be, we did a validation study. We took 8 Allergenco PosiTrack slides. We did 2 reads by a mycologist, 3 reads by mold techs, and then 8 digital reads by Sporecyte that basically the AI made the first classification and then techs corrected them. And we also did 1 read by a mycologist with Sporecyte to establish the ground truth. And here's what we found. As I mentioned before in the challenges, if you don't read the whole slide, you can end up extrapolating incorrect numbers. So by reading the whole slide, you get a more consistent result. So with mold tech, a mold tech with Sporecyte only had 15% variability versus just glass 24%, and a mycologist on glass, and then mold techs had 44% variability. So you can see that you get more consistent results, and that you also get more accurate results. Here you can see that at the end of the day, a mold tech with Sporecyte found 2% more spores than the ground truth. And so it's very, very consistent with what you would see in terms of an accuracy result on glass. But you're going to just get those results more consistently. The benefits of this platform are pretty obvious. You're going to get quick AI-based results that's going to improve your lab's efficiency. We recognize 120 plus spores and particulates, so you're probably actually increase the number of spores that your techs will now be able to recognize, and 100% of that slide is read, which is going to increase your accuracy and consistency. These results, the AI results, are deterministic, which means they will return the exact same spores every time the algorithm is run on a slide. So your text will become more consistent, the reads will be more consistent over time. The pictures of spores and particulate can be included in the report, so your customers and your lab managers can verify the accuracy from a QA perspective. And the results also include airborne particulates, which isn't standard in most labs, so it can be a competitive advantage for you. That PDF report can be emailed or printed, or we've got an open API that lets you integrate those results into your own reporting solution. This enables a whole new same-day digital read service that you can do for high-volume clients, where if they buy a scanner, you can get and read their digital slides. And then all these results and all the slides are saved in the cloud versus on a glass slide. And so if someone had a legal proceeding, you could give them that link. They can look at it, see it. Even a jury could see the results and see the spores. So that's Sporecyte. I appreciate you listening to our presentation. This is an exciting new technology that will help increase the accuracy, consistency, and efficiency of mold labs.